When did you become a Christian? I mean, at your baptism, but at what point did you, I don't know, in your childhood or later, did you become serious about Christianity?
Well, we were always nominally Christians, Church of England, so not particularly strong in our faith, but I always had a relationship with God, and I always prayed, and I always felt like my prayers were answered, but I didn't know Christ in the person until I became a teacher, really, because I worked in Church of England schools, and we started our week off at Mass, in church. We centered our week around the church life, so you set your pupils up for a good week by starting off there in the Lord's house. So that meant something, that I saw that worked. And then so I started going on Sundays too. And I'd been to a lot of churches beforehand, Baptist, Pentecostal, all kinds of stuff, and nothing had really hit home. But I was clearly searching for something. And then I went to a typical Via Media Anglican service, and I had an encounter with Christ in the Eucharist. And I realized in that moment, I didn't know what the theology behind it was. I didn't know what the liturgy meant, but I had an encounter with Christ. And I realized right there and then that I needed to center my life around the Eucharist. And I kept discerning and learning more, and eventually discovered that I was called to ordained ministry. And being a teacher was part of my vocation, but not the whole of it.
And was your family and friends okay? Or did they journey with you in this sort of? Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a different journey for different people. My parents were very, very supportive, and I love them for that. And they've got different ideas. You know, my father's Baptist, so he was the one who said, I didn't baptize you as a child because I wanted you to wait until you were old enough to make the decision for yourself, which I don't actually think works. And my mother is just typical Church of England, so she comes along once a month to church, and it's not a regular weekly pattern, but at least she's involved. Other members of my family were more critical and saw it as countercultural, which I suppose it is. And I think that's one of the reasons I find it attractive, actually. When church is done properly, it is countercultural, because we have enough of the degenerate, debauched society around us. We want something different, right? We want something true. So there have been different reactions, but we're all getting there.
I think for me, I had a conversion when I was 17, and I went from atheist agnostic to this shocking realization that Jesus Christ exists.
How did that happen?
I was in Rome for a thing called World Youth Day. 2.5 million people came from around the world. The Holy Father held these events every couple of years.
Which one?
It was in Rome 2000.
Right.
So it was the largest gathering of human beings in European history.
Wow.
And I showed up because I thought, I don't know, there's ladies from all around the world here, and I've had no chance with these Australian Sheilas, and no luck, I should say. I don't know, so I just went with very impure motives, but was struck by the joy and the confidence and the lack of cynicism in the people with me.
So did you kind of meet your faith at the same time as you met your wife?
It's an interesting story. I don't think I've ever shared this before, but in August of 2000 is when I came to accept Christ as my Lord. And in August of 2000, my wife was serving as a missionary in Canada, and for the first time heard, you should pray for your future husband. And so in August of 2000, she started praying for her future husband.
Wow.
And in August of 2000, her future husband came to Christ in Rome.
Prayer was answered.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but see, when I came back, I held many worldly views regarding sexuality. It was a mantra growing up that if you have sex if you love someone, that kind of stuff. And so that was hard for me to rid myself of. And I had friends with same-sex attraction, and I thought, well, that's fine. Like it's about, it's about love. Yeah. So it took me a while just to be discipled by the church. I think we often think that we're the teacher and we want to teach the church, but to place yourself as a humble son.
Yeah, of course.
But it took me a while to get there. For you, was it like that? I mean, this clip was sponsored by Hallow, which is the #1 prayer and meditation app on the web. Go download their app by going to hallow.com/MattFradd. When you sign up there, you get 3 months of their app, complete access for free. If at the end of the 3 months you feel like it's not worth your money, you don't have to pay a cent, but I think you will use it. I pay for it. My wife has it. My friends have it. It has sleep stories. It'll help you pray the rosary. It'll help you get into a prayer routine. 100% Catholic and super, super excellent.